In the heart of Eastern Europe, on a cold December day in 1989, the Romanian dictator Nicolae Ceaușescu stood on a balcony in Bucharest, giving what would be his final speech. The crowd below, no longer chanting his praises, began to boo a sound he hadn't heard in decades. This marked the beginning of the end for Ceaușescu and his regime, a pivotal moment in Romanian history. But to truly understand how Romania arrived at this dramatic crossroads, we need to rewind through thousands of years, from ancient warriors who challenged the Roman Empire to medieval princes who faced off against the Ottomans, and a modern struggle for freedom that continues to shape the nation's identity today. So sit back as we unravel the epic, sometimes chaotic but always fascinating history of Romania. Long before Romania became Romania, the region was inhabited by various prehistoric cultures. Fast forward a few millennia, and we stumble upon the Tartaria tablets. Are they the world's earliest form of writing, or just some ancient doodles? Scholars still argue about it. Imagine a couple of archaeologists passionately debating, no, that's not a cat, it's a proto-cuneiform symbol. By the Bronze Age, the indigenous cultures had cozied up with some Indo-European newcomers, resulting in the Getae, Dacians, and Thracians. While the Getae and Dacians were closely related, they were like estranged cousins at a family reunion speaking the same language but refusing to sit at the same table. Enter Birthplace, the family therapist, who united them into one kingdom, only to die alongside Julius Caesar, both victims of power plays and sharp objects. Talk about a plot twist. After the demise of Birthplace, the Dacians got a taste for internal squabbles. However, under Decebalus, they united once more and decided to poke the Roman Empire big mistake. Emperor Trajan, a man with a penchant for conquest, was not amused. Trajan launched 2 Dacian Wars, during which the Dacians fought with so much zeal that Roman helmets had to be redesigned to prevent getting sliced like melons. Decebalus, faced with the full might of Rome, decided that parading through Rome was not on his bucket list, so he chose a dramatic exit, taking his own life rather than getting captured. The Romans then did what Romans do best: they colonized the place, enslaved tens of thousands of Dacians, and started Latinizing the region. The Romanization was so thorough that even today, Romanians speak a language more closely related to Italian and Spanish than to their Slavic neighbors. For 168 years, the Romans hung out in Dacia until they decided, you know what, this is too much hassle, and retreated south of the Danube River. After the Romans left, the Visigoths waltzed in, followed by a parade of Gepids, Huns, Avars, Slavs, Bulgars, and more. The region became the medieval equivalent of a revolving door, with tribes entering and exiting like they were trying to win a who can invade the most contest. Among these, the Gepids allied with Attila the Hun and later ruled the region, taking a hefty gold tribute from the Romans. But the Gepid party ended when the Lombards and Avars crashed it, bringing along a guest list of Slavs and Bulgars. The First Bulgarian Empire then decided it was their turn to be in charge, and they ruled the region, becoming both enemies and frenemies with the Byzantine Empire. As the chaos subsided, 3 principalities rose: Transylvania, Wallachia, and Moldavia. Transylvania became a semi-independent vassal of the Kingdom of Hungary, while Wallachia and Moldavia played the "we're independent, no wait, we're not" game with Hungary and the Mongols, respectively. Wallachia achieved true independence in 1330 after a shocking victory against a larger Hungarian army. The Wallachian leader at the time, Bajsar probably gave the Hungarians a mocking wave as they retreated. But freedom was fleeting. The Ottomans, seeing some prime real estate, swooped in, and Wallachia became a vassal in 1417. It was a love-hate relationship filled with rebellions, betrayals, and I'm not paying this year's tribute moments. One standout ruler during this period was none other than Vlad the Impaler. or Vlad the Impaler, who was to the Ottomans what a persistent wasp is to a picnic, annoying, unpredictable, and prone to violent stings. His penchant for impaling enemies became legendary, so much so that he later inspired a certain vampire we all know and fear, Dracula. During the long Ottoman rule, the three principalities played a dangerous game of chess, with the sultans on one side and ambitious local rulers on the other. In Wallachia, Moldavia, and Transylvania, autonomy ebbed and flowed depending on who was rebelling and who was collecting the taxes. The princes would often promise to pay tribute, then turn around and say, "Just kidding," and raise an army. And so the Ottomans would send another force, reset the balance, and the cycle would begin again. The era's highlight was the brief reign of Michael the Brave Mihai Viteazul, who, in a flash of brilliance and military genius, united Wallachia, Moldavia, and Transylvania in 1600, albeit temporarily. His ambitions, however, were cut short quite literally when he was assassinated. After that, it was back to the Ottoman overlords, with occasional Russian and Austrian interventions. Fast forward to the 19th century, and the spirit of nationalism is in full swing. Romanians, fed up with being the ping-pong ball of Europe, decided to unify. In 1859, Wallachia and Moldavia decided to merge like two weary travelers teaming up against a common bully. The result? The United Principalities, which later became the Kingdom of Romania in 1881. The Ottomans, Austrians, and Russians all had their say, but eventually, with a little help from their new friends, the Russians, Romania declared independence in 1877. The Ottomans, realizing they had enough to deal with elsewhere, granted them their freedom. By the time World War I rolled around, Romania was strategically squished between empires like a grape in a wine press. Initially neutral, Romania eventually joined the Allies in 1916, tempted by promises of uniting with the 3 million Romanians in Transylvania. However, it came at a cost over 500,000 casualties. But every cloud has a silver lining. With the collapse of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, Romania gained Transylvania, creating Greater Romania. Cue the national celebrations, street parties, and possibly a few too many toasts of tuca, the local plum brandy. Then came World War II, and Romania found itself in yet another bind. After initially being reluctant, Romania joined the Axis powers under threat of invasion by the USSR. But like any good plot twist, Romania switched sides in 1944 to join the Allies, mainly because they could see where things were headed. Post-war, the communists took over and King Michael was shown the door. Nicolae Ceaușescu, the poster child for communist dictatorships, governed Romania with an iron fist from 1965 until 1989. His regime was characterized by grandiose projects, economic hardship, and a personality cult that would make even the Kardashians blush. His rule ended abruptly in 1989 when he and his wife, Elena, were executed following a swift trial during the Romanian Revolution. Post-communism. Romania embraced democracy and a market economy, drafting a new constitution in 1991. The 90s were a time of transition, a bit like puberty but for a country. Fast forward to 2004, and Romania joined NATO, followed by accession to the European Union in 2007, a move celebrated with a sigh of relief and some cross-country dance parties. Today, Romania is a proud member of the European family. There's even been talk of reuniting with Moldova, sort of like a family reunion, where two long-lost siblings try to find common ground over shared history and a bit of drama. So there you have it, the entire history of Romania squeezed into one thrilling, dramatic, and occasionally humorous roller coaster ride through time. From ancient warriors and rebellious rulers to Ottomans, Russians, and a Dracula or two, Romania's history is as colorful and diverse as the people who live there today. And remember, while history may seem like a series of dates, battles, and treaties, it's also the story of people who loved, fought, and shaped the world we live in today. And if there's one thing we know for sure, it's that Romanians are a resilient bunch, always ready for the next chapter in their never-ending story.